Hello YouTube and welcome to another GV anime review, where today we travel to a distant planet in search of crystals in the anime Comet Lucifer. Comet Lucifer was kind of an unknown anime from the fall season, and judging by the low scores it got on Anime Planet, it seems that I was one of the few who actually enjoyed this anime, so let me tell you why. The story of Comet Lucifer takes place on a planet called Gift, named after a precious mineral that lays in its soil called giftium. Here we meet our main character Sogo Amagi, who spends his days searching for rare crystals. One day Sogo finds a very nice red crystal, but soon after he gets attacked by mechs who seem to come from the government. At that moment, the crystal transforms into a blue-haired girl, and the mechs get defeated by another white mech who appeared out of nowhere. Sogo and his friends start to investigate who this girl named Felia is, where she came from, and what the government wants from her. The first positive point about Comet Lucifer was the art style. I loved the world that was created in this anime. If you have seen my videos, then you know I really like art styles who use lots of bright colors, and Comet Lucifer's art style played perfectly into this. Also, the character design was very bright and colorful, so 8-bit did a very good job there in my opinion. Going further on the characters, Felia was so goddamn cute in the first half of the anime. I mean, come on, how can you not fall for her kawaiiness? Just her whole playful and childish personality made her a very fun character, and therefore very entertaining and heartwarming to look at. Now in the second half of the anime, when Felia grows up, she did lose some of that cuteness that she had when she was small. But her growing up made it possible for her as a character to experience and use new feelings, new emotions. But she was less cute. Now there was another character that I liked even more than small Felia, and that was Mora. Mora was the best character in the anime. Sometimes she was so funny, and other times she was the voice of reason in this anime. And as Felia's guardian, she risks her own life and limbs several times in the anime to protect her and Sogo. But it was mostly her comical personality that made her character for me. Mora made me laugh in every episode of Comet Lucifer. The voice actor of Mora also played a big role into this by giving Mora such a fun and catching voice. Then it's time to talk about the story of Comet Lucifer. Now this is going to be divided over the positive and the negative part of this review, because there were several elements that I liked about Comet Lucifer's story, but others were less logic, and therefore I will discuss those in the negative part. What I liked about Comet Lucifer's story was that sometimes it went off the whole colorful, happy anime path. At times, this anime is quite dark. If you look at the cover of Comet Lucifer and most of the anime, I don't think you expect or suspect that people will die in this anime. Well, they do. Mostly in the flashbacks of one of the characters, but there were also the deaths of two important characters in this anime, and I didn't see their deaths coming, especially of one of the two. Now, I'm of course not going to spoil here who dies, but I was really surprised about these dark themes that Comet Lucifer dared to use, because I completely did not expect that when I decided to watch this anime in the past fall season. But what surprised me the most about Comet Lucifer's story was the ending. Now, others may say that it was a very generic ending and that they saw it coming from miles away, but I didn't. I was expecting the usual ending that comes with these kind of animes, being the happily ever after ending. But Comet Lucifer decided not to do that and deliver an ending that was quite sad if you think about it. Now also here I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I was left with strongly mixed feelings after I saw the last episode of Comet Lucifer. Now that were the things I did like about the story, but unfortunately Comet Lucifer's overall story wasn't the best I have seen. The story is really random and confusing at moments, especially the further we go into the anime. This is clearly shown in the last 2 episodes. I was really confused there, and certain elements were introduced completely random and without any clear explanation. And that's probably the main reason why Comet Lucifer receives such low scores. It just introduces too many things without build-up. That was, as I mentioned earlier, really confusing for the viewer. It was a real shame that an anime with such beautiful art got such a bad storyline. So as a conclusion, I was one of the few that actually liked Comet Lucifer. It was a very fun anime with fun characters and a surprising dark side to it. And that's why I'm going to rate Comet Lucifer at 4 out of 5 stars. In my opinion, this is an underrated anime, but I also must admit that the storyline is one of the weaker ones I saw in the past fall season. But there were definitely elements that made this anime stand out in that dull fall season. Now as my recommendation for this anime, I chose an anime with a better storyline than Comet Lucifer, and that's Plastic Memories. Comet Lucifer reminded me a lot of Plastic Memories, especially our main duo Sogo Phelia were really like the main protagonists from Plastic Memories, Tsukasa and Ayla. I enjoyed Plastic Memories a lot. It was my favorite anime from spring season last year, and it doesn't feature a random storyline as Comet Lucifer. It also has way more feels, so that's an extra plus. And with that I conclude my review of Comet Lucifer. As usual, you can find a full list of all my animes and reviews over at Anime Planet. As usual, I will put a link in the description box down below. Now if you want me to review a particular anime from this list, please put it in the comments. Also, if you have a recommendation for me, put them in the comments as well. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, visit me on Facebook and subscribe to this channel for more reviews in the future. I will say arigatou gozaimasu and I will see you all in the next video.